Hi, my name is Mark Taylor. Welcome to Mark D Maker. Today we'll be making a wall hanging, a vignette of a house. Let's take a look. So these little house vignettes are very easy to make. I've made them with scrap wood and some train set greenery. And yeah, almost all of this is just scraps. Let me show you how I did it. And I did it with just very few tools. Now I did use scrap wood and cut some angles on some just scrap wood that I had laying around. So you would want to, get some sort of a pattern that you're happy with. I think by changing, the height of something and give it multi levels, it adds a little interest. So play around with just some scraps. I cut these. These are all 45s, and for the little tiny pieces of wood for the trim, all of this trim was all cut with these simple little cutters. They're a Hobbycraft cutter, and they have angles marked here. So if you wanted to put a 45 or whatever on it, these things are very effective, and they cut. Here's a for instance. I'll just do a cut here. Well, does a pretty nice clean cut. Very easy to use. Here's a more professional set. I actually use these for trimming branches off of trees. They're of anvil design, so this is an anvil, and the cutter comes down and cuts it. This is an interchangeable razor blade. This is actually a titanium piece, so you can cut wire. So there's a lot of different people make this. This is a Husky. Craftsman makes one. There's one on Amazon I just looked at for $14. I'll do some links below. Here's the razor blades, that spare razor blades. This one looks like it's ready to be changed because I use it on tree branches. But I use this for all kinds of stuff. You can cut wood, rope. Just a very, very handy tool. And I also use them to make these. So once I cut the little pieces with the snippers, I either use a wood like a Titebond or hot glue gun. Hot glue gun goes really quick. It makes it really fast. There's no clamping. You hit a little bit of hot glue on the back of it and stick it right to it. And especially handy when you're doing like a little picket fence like that on the front porch. Just a little dab on the top and a little dab on the bottom, it goes right into place very quickly. Now here's a couple of them that are in the early stages. These little tiny pieces of wood I bought at a craft store. This detail right here is simply from a craft store in the doll house section. They sell dollhouse molding, and it works perfectly for these little houses. You can crank these things out very quickly, and they sell wonderful at a craft sale. And you can decorate them to look like Christmas. Use a Christmas theme or a Halloween theme and include it into your seasonal decorations. However you paint them, or that could be a haunted house. You can make it a Christmas wonderland. So if you really want to go into detail with them, you can make them simple. Like there's no molding here, but if you want a dollhouse molding, that's like a molding for house. This looks like chair rail. These are the little pieces that I that I buy at a hobby store that I frame out the windows in. There's some crown molding with dental. I mean, that would really make something look fancy. There's just so much you can do with it. And this is some more molding. This is just a little piece, almost kind of like a tiny little popsicle stick or a stir stick. So you can pick up some stir sticks next time you're in Starbucks and build some stuff with it.
Here we are at Home Depot in the lumber section, and they actually carry miniature molding.
So if you look around, you can find wood for free. This is actually part of a wine case. This is from a vineyard. And you could use part of this, these pieces of wood here that looks very splintery is this is from a food crate. They were throwing a food crate away at the grocery store, and I happened to see it and asked if I could have it. It's just really cheap plywood. And sometimes you'll find these on the bottom pallets, over the pallet when stuff is stacked on it. Everybody throws it away. There's hardly any use for it, but you can get this very rustic look. It's thin and it fractures basically and gives you all kinds of interesting shapes. You can add a lot of dimension and shape using those. This is a plastic product that I got from a hobby store, and it's basically a terracotta roof, but it's plastic. I cut this, hot glue it on to some of them, and it adds a different texture. Really inexpensive. So here's some other stuff that I have. These are basically the craft sticks. They're like matchsticks without the match ends. So they were real cheap. Picked them up at a craft store, and I use those for little fence rails, doing a doorway. This is a train set greenery. Anybody who's ever had a train set, you can buy this stuff. It's relatively inexpensive and really easy to make bushes and trees with. This is just a whole package of rectangles. So they can be doors, windows. Matter of fact, that's a lot of the doors that are on these little house vignettes. We got architectural circles, all kinds of circles here. You can just hot glue them right into place. And then some odd shapes, some triangles, which triangles are in architecture, so that would be real nice. There's some stars, there's some hearts. You could make a little gingerbread house, put some little hearts on it, give it a theme. All available, all cheap at the hobby store. And of course, stir sticks, paint stir sticks, popsicle sticks, and toothpicks. I usually, if I'm going to use a yellow wood glue or a white glue, if I want it to dry clear, I'll apply it with a toothpick. So if you were doing a little house, let's say this house here, and made a Christmas scene, I would apply the white glue on the edges, sprinkle it with like a white glitter or a white type of a craft to make it look like snow on the awning, you know, everywhere. So here's the beginning. I just randomly placed these to add a little interest and to break up the hard line on the bottom. And then you can place your house on it. I usually like the house to come off the top to add dimension, make this fall into the background. And this would be a really nice Christmas house if you look at it. I know it's got primer on it right now, but it's ready to paint. And so you can paint that up and make it look really nice. Like I say, these things, if that's decorated like Christmas and you take that to a Christmas craft show, bam, somebody's gonna buy it. So when I'm laying out the design of one of these, I try to get 3 different sizes. Try to get maybe an angle that's different. So these 3 have different angles. And that creates a little bit of interest. Some are higher than the others. That'll create some interest, and you can decorate them, make them your own. Now, if you really wanted to take it a step further, you could actually decorate it like an actual area, or at least capture the feeling of an area like in an old town. Kind of made this to maybe capture a little bit of the feeling of like Old Town Alexandria here, but then put a beach back here. Here we have, I added some street lights, and with hot glue it's just so easy. These are just skewers. Hot glued these ends on, hot glued it right to the board. Nothing fancy. These things won't be taking a load or anything. They'll be hanging on a wall. This one hangs on a wall in my garage. So for this kind of work, you know, I just use cheap brushes and cheap acrylic paint, the kind you pay like $1 for at the craft store. Some wood surfaces will kind of wear down your brushes, so I don't use my really good brushes on this. I just use inexpensive stuff. This is a very inexpensive way to get into doing a craft. It's fun and people will be impressed with it.
Hopefully this video has inspired you to make your own little house. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and help me build this channel. I will link all the products that I mentioned in the video below. See you next time.